These are the 4 darkest Family Guy episodes ever made. And I'm not talking edgy, cutaway joke dark. We all know how Family Guy can be. I mean full-on abusive, unsettling, brain-melting hallucinations kind of dark. By the end, you'll be asking yourself the same thing I did. How is this ever allowed to air? It doesn't start with violence. It starts with boredom, a storm outside, and something worse building inside. It starts with a bang. A hurricane slams against the Griffin house, trapping everyone inside. At first, it feels like standard Family Guy chaos. The power's out, the family's bored, Peter's cracking dumb jokes just to kill time. It seems harmless, until it isn't. Brian decides the only way to survive this madness is to escape it. He reaches for a bag of magic mushrooms he's hidden beneath the carpet. Before he can take them, Stewie catches him in the act. Brian shrugs it off, tells him they'll make you see weird stuff, maybe even feel happy for a few hours.
These are mushrooms. It's a psychedelic drug. Makes you see weird things and feel happy for a few hours.
That happy part? Forget it. The hallucinations? That's a generous word for what's coming. Visually, this will be the craziest and unsettling episode. Back in the living room, something's off. The jokes get weirder. Peter, Lois, and Chris start finger banging each other. No, not metaphorically, it's a game. And Meg wants in.
Hey, me too! Bang!
Oh, no one wants to get finger banged by you, Meg.
Why don't you just go finger bang yourself?
Stewie watches, disgusted. As the storm outside intensifies, so does the darkness inside. Remember the mushrooms? The mushrooms hit. Brian's eyes widened. His grip on reality slips. He sees spinning heads, warped faces, and Meg sprouting facial hair. And that's just the opening act. 2 threads begin unraveling at the same time. Meg, relentlessly bullied and humiliated by her own family, and Brian, descending into a personal hell that warps every inch of reality. Stewie, desperate to escape the finger banging, walks into the bathroom and finds Brian. Brian cut his ear off to prevent a war.
Oh God! Oh God!
I'm not sure if Brian took just 1 mushroom or the whole bag, but Stewie is shocked, blood on the floor. Brian's standing there, holding his severed ear. Stewie freezes. Brian drops the ear in Stewie's hand like it's nothing, then collapses. Stewie tries to calm him, speaks gently, but to Brian, Stewie now has a real human mouth, talking, moving, morphing.
Return what you have stolen from me.
Brian screams and runs. Back in the living room, Peter launches into an actual full-length 53-second song. Meg unintentionally cuts through the noise with a can of soda. That's all it takes for her to become the target again. She tries, for once, to stand up for herself. And her reward? Verbal attacks from Lois. Chris tells her to shut up.
Yeah, shut up, Meg!
Things are boiling. Brian, now shaking under a blanket in Stewie's bed, looks like he's aged 10 years in 5 minutes. Stewie pets him gently, trying to soothe him. But after this, for me, the visuals now begin to really be disturbing. While petting, Brian doesn't feel comfortable. He feels his skin peeling. Stewie's hand becomes claws. His face becomes a monster.
And get some
Brian slips into another dimension. Peter's being cooked alive. Lois twists her neck backward, and her eyes fall out. Bees sting Brian until his skin bubbles and explodes. He falls screaming into a pit of fire, and then, white screen, silence. The storm intensifies. Meg is still fighting, and finally, she snaps. She calls Lois a washed-up corn star, a terrible mother. Peter tries to laugh it off, and calls Meg Harry Potter.
My money's on Harry Potter over there.
Oh, you think that's funny, fat ass?
She turns on him too. Now both parents are in tears, but not because they're sorry, because they've lost control. When Meg, in a moment of unsettling clarity, thinks that her suffering might be necessary for the family's survival, Meg breaks.
Maybe if I feel bad, they don't have to.
And just like that, the reversal is complete. Meg apologizes, says she was wrong. She tells them, the people who've abused her for years, that they've done nothing wrong, and they ask her why she made them go through all of that.
Meg, how could you put us all through that? I'm sorry, you guys.
You're a
Yes.
That's how it ends. Brian, bleeding on the floor from imaginary horrors. Meg is crushed by a cycle of abuse so deep she thinks she deserves it. But some horrors don't come from storms or hallucinations. Sometimes they come from silence, a quiet room, a closed door, and a voice asking questions you're not ready to answer. Forget the wild jokes. This time, the horror isn't loud. It's quiet. No cutaways, no chaos, just 4 white walls, and Stewie Griffin slowly falling apart. We'll see the fake personality of Stewie and him slowly falling apart and showing who he really is. It begins with therapy. Stewie's sent to a child psychologist after causing trouble at school. From the moment he enters the room, he performs. Sharp jokes, fake confidence, and that ever-present British accent. A mask carefully crafted to keep everyone at a distance. But the doctor, he doesn't laugh, he listens. And then he asks the simplest question, why the accent? Stewie freezes, and in one of the show's most shocking moments, he drops the act. The accent is fake. It's always been fake. A wall to protect him from connection, from vulnerability, is now seen right through. But Stewie isn't ready to be known, not really. So he strikes back. He unloads, attacking the doctor's personal life, exposing details about his relationship, his sexuality, his deepest insecurities.
And I see that you're on the rooftop pool deck at the Fasano Hotel in Ipanema, the most exclusive hotel in all of Brazil. Michael would have been dying to stay there.
The monologue lasts 6 minutes. It's vicious, detailed, too accurate. The doctor just sits there. Then he says,
You seem like a very lonely little boy.
Oh my God, I am! I'm so lonely!
He confesses everything, how he doesn't know how to talk to other kids, how he tried, even pushed one down the stairs just to get noticed. He talks about dirt, shapes, random things, desperate to connect, but nothing works. He's too different, too smart, too scared. When asked what it's like to be this intelligent,
It must be difficult for you, Stewie, being so intelligent.
Stewie pauses and admits the truth. It's exhausting. He doesn't know where he fits in. He doesn't know how to feel safe. Always anxious, always pretending. And then, a glimmer of something real. The doctor asks what he truly enjoys.
Well, what are the things you're interested in, Stewie?
I also like to talk about musicals.
So he performs, snot dripping from his nose, voice trembling. But for once, someone's listening.
Came and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man? Alexander Hamilton.
Even though loads of snot entering his mouth. But when he finishes, the doctor claps. Not politely, genuinely.
Well done. You're a very special little boy, Stewie.
For a brief moment, Stewie is seen, not as a weapon, not as a joke, as a child. The doctor tells him.
You have to pretend that you're something you're not.
And Stewie tries. He even drops the accent. Feels more alive, more real.
This is how I talk. The accent is nothing more than an affectation, so I could feel special.
He says the doctor is the first person who's ever truly seen him. But this will turn into the doctor's greatest regret and danger, because when the doctor says,
You're finally going to be just like everybody else.
What? Say that again.
something shifts. Stewie recoils. He doesn't want to be like everyone else. He wants to be better, unique, smarter, untouchable. Then the doctor clutches his chest. A heart attack. He begs Stewie for help. His medication is within reach. Stewie runs to get it, then stops. He turns around.
There's one person that does know the real me, and that's you.
Stewie, in a terrifying display of his dark side, deliberately chooses not to get the medication, unwilling to let anyone else see the real him. The man who saw through every mask is silenced, and Stewie, he watches it happen, calm, composed, and alone, because sometimes being understood is scarier than being invisible.
So, this is how you leave me.
Sorry.
Some masks are emotional, others biological, because after confessing everything to a stranger, Stewie tries to fill the void another way, a way only he could imagine, and no one, not even Brian, is ready for what comes next. What happens when deep loneliness collides with a genius-level baby brain? You get this. Stewie as Ensaint isn't just strange, it's deeply unsettling. Because this isn't a love story, it's a breakdown disguised as a bond. It starts with rejection, again.
Oh, hey, Bri. Hey, want to go out and get some gluten-free pizza?
Too late.
Let's go to Whole Foods and buy a bunch of stuff from that weird aisle nobody else goes down.
I can't. I got plans. I'll see you later.
Stewie feels Brian pulling away, emotionally distant, uninterested, unavailable. So Stewie, in his own twisted logic, makes a decision. If Brian won't love him, he'll create something that forces him to. Stewie suggests something crazy.
Brian, We're pregnant.
Not a metaphor, not a game, a real child. Brian laughs it off, but Stewie, he's already planning. He collects hair from a chair, saliva from a fork, then builds a device that looks like a cross between an MRI machine and a war crime. He strips naked, climbs in, injects himself with a glowing green liquid. And that's it. Stewie Griffin is pregnant with Brian's DNA. The whole process feels cold and distant, showing how fake and desperate his search for connection really is. Amazingly, or maybe shockingly, the self-made pregnancy starts. At first, it's played for laughs, morning sickness, weird cravings for things like dirt and hot sauce, and Stewie's belly getting bigger fast. But the humor quickly turns sour, as Brian's clear disgust and horror start to show the real, dark feelings underneath. This isn't cute, it's uncomfortable, as Stewie's obsession takes over everything else. The pregnancy accelerates. Stewie's stomach grows at an unnatural pace. His identity dissolves into obsession, and then comes the delivery. It happens in a car in the middle of the street.
Careful, don't get anything on the seats. Another one's coming out of my mouth! There's more! They're coming out of everywhere! Ah!
It's gross, slimy, visceral. What happens right after is messy and sad. The strange creatures crawl everywhere, causing a lot of trouble. But the real dark part comes when Stewie, without thinking twice, decides to leave them at an animal shelter.
This is for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll be adopted.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they just leave them, without any feelings. The story is quite dark, as it turns Stewie into a psychopath, using his genius side for something disturbing.
Stewie, help! It hurts! Stewie! Stewie!
He used his IQ to build a machine that would make the impossible possible. That a child, a male child, can impregnate himself with dog DNA. Like, that sentence is crazy on its own. Love isn't always earned. Sometimes it's programmed. And when the connection fails, some people don't move on. They rewrite the script, even if it means rewiring someone's mind. What happens when you try to fix a broken marriage with shortcuts? In The Manchurian Candidate, Lois doesn't want Peter to change. She wants him to go back, to be the man he used to be. But rather than talk, or reconnect, or grow, she takes a shortcut: mind control. Lois is at her breaking point. The episode actually starts very positively, with Peter and Lois having a great date at a new restaurant. They like it, and they promise each other that when they get home, they will do the thing, like they used to do back in the day. Lois confesses to her friends she felt nothing. A moment where they truly connect isn't there anymore.
That's so much better.
So instead of facing the truth, she goes to a hypnotist. She wants the old Peter back, the charming, attentive, over-the-top lover from years ago. The trigger word they choose? Vanilla ice. But during the session, Peter's phone dings, a notification sound, and that sound overrides everything.
Peter, we are now in our suspended state. And from now on, whenever you hear the words extra, extra.
Now that's his trigger. What starts as a seemingly harmless way to fix their marriage quickly turns into something much darker, literally, until the last second of this episode. That night in bed, Lois says the magic words.
Vanilla ice cream.
Nothing. But when the TV plays a celebrity gossip segment, and that sound plays, Peter snaps into action. And suddenly Peter is perfect, romantic, devoted, skilled, too skilled. He goes down on Lois like a man possessed. Because he is. There was a reason why the initial trigger word was vanilla ice. Peter, in his trance, actually sees ice cream. The real dark part here isn't just Peter losing himself, but Lois's willingness to take away his free will and basically his soul. And Lois, she doesn't question it. She uses the sound again the next morning. Because it works. What follows isn't intimacy, it's automation. Peter becomes a machine.
What was that?
Nothing.
A puppet wired to a ringtone, but Lois doesn't care.
Before you go, can I just talk to you upstairs for 1 minute? I want to ask. Go fish!
Later that day, Peter and Lois are invited to Lois's parents for dinner. But when they arrive, they find out Lois's mom is laying sick in bed, and the horror begins now. Lois asks Peter to bring some food to Mom. Peter obviously wants to help. He brings the food, but then the mom turns on the TV. The sound plays. Celebrity gossip. Lois hears the sound from downstairs.
7:30. Why?
Oh my god, oh my god!
With all of her power, she rushes upstairs trying to get Peter out of trance. Lois just found out Peter went down on her mom, like vanilla ice cream. Peter snaps back and realizes what he has done. Lois's mom. She's glowing. The drive home is silent. No one speaks. They just stare ahead, shell-shocked, until Lois's mom calls Peter's phone. He lets it ring. He turns on the radio, desperate for anything else, and the song playing. After all the horror, Lois seeing her man go down on her mom, the awkward drive home, they finally arrive home. There is only one thing they can do. And when you think it's over...
Hey, guys.
Peter, no.